All right, I'll see you in about an hour, everyone.
Okay. Let me spotlight you.
Initially, I would like to thank those which have decided to come to our journey into the understanding of oneself, and to those which are still yet to decide. This journey will change you from who you are into your true self. Of course, it is not an overnight journey or an awakening, but takes you along your path. We will journey through the teachings of the wise, those which wish to communicate to you the processes, the plans, and what awaits you for your journey. And we will begin that journey in a few short weeks. There is no preparation for you, but from the day we start, no matter which group or what time or what day you join, then your focus will shift. And you will shift from the external to the internal. The focus will go from head into mind, into heart, into truth. As we shed the layers of illusion, a little at a time. So I wish to continue our talks. And our talks are based on returning to source. Returning to the truth of oneself. And beyond the initial understanding into the awakening, into being a flicker or a flame of the Creator. But I'd like to begin with the healing list, if I may have those names now, please.
Yes, we have Tracy and Ross Vermack, Lena Montalbano, Cassio Fabio and Angela Cristina de Toledo Pisa, Anna, Sonia, Jeanette, Teresa, Denise and Steve, Asha and Rosa, Jason and Belinda, Chris and Howard, Rhonda, Tracy, Eric, Stephen, and Matthew, Marianne and Jody, Jill, Katie, Mitch, Louise and John, Priscilla and her sister, dogs Parker, Paisley, and Jules, Stephanos and Andreas, Stella, Irene, George, Sophie, Angelina, Dimitri, Miria, and Jade. Thank you.
Now, I wish to begin with a story. And Brandon, this may be a story that you choose because you enjoy. An Indian man travels to Africa, and he undertakes his business that he needs to conclude there. And this business means he must contact and communicate with a moneylender. And as he is due to meet the moneylender, he receives news that a relative of his has passed on, has died. In his home village. And he tells this to the moneylender and says, I have lost a relative today. And the moneylender says, how does that make you feel? He said, I am sad. And the moneylender asks him, what do you do when you have a new birth in your family? And he says, I rejoice for the birth of a new child. And the moneylender says, if you rejoice at birth and are sad when you must pay back what you have borrowed, I will not lend you any money. This story is an analogy of the process of birth and death, the arrival into your world and the exit from you. And you see it from a narrow point of view. There is something, and then there is nothing. And you see yourself as being the limited form when in fact you are not. And it is not knowing that you are the unlimited, the selfless, the one who travels through the world unseen, the sinless, the creator. And in not knowing this, then all of your drama and ills are created. They are created because you see yourself as limited, of defined by the barriers of the skin. Of being trapped within the physical body and being that physical body. If you wish not to be limited, you must understand yourself to be the unlimited. You must journey back home. You must die while you are still alive. And I mean die to the attachment of your body. And you begin the journey back to your Creator through the non-physical but still individual realms of what you will call the spirit world. And the spirit world knows of this play that is being played. The soul sees the play, but has to take part. Until it realizes itself. So if all of your problems, your ills, your dramas, and your difficulties are because you cling to an individual physical self, yet your first part of your journey must be to look and see if this self is true that I hold on to. Is this me actually a me? Are these arms and legs actually who I am? And surely, with all this understanding, even those just turning the corner into their selves, surely they must realize you are not this chatter in your mind. If I ask you this question, you would all say, no, I am not this chatter in the mind. Yet that chatter, that thought process, creates the individual self. Yet the thoughts pass through the conscious awareness. They do not stay for very long, unless you wish to hold them. How can they be you? How can it possibly be you, this chatter of the mind? And this chatter, if you can look now over the next few days and see the thoughts and the feeling which pass like a wave on the ocean, then if they are not you, who are you? That thought creates something that is good or bad. That thought is an experience, but not who you are. That thought says the experiences I undertook in my childhood have created who I am today. The successes, the failures, the loss of loved ones, they are just thoughts. You think that this is a good thing or a bad thing, and you chase the good and avoid the bad. Is that not just a thought? Is that not the play on the screen? Is the mind the blank screen and the thought the movie being projected on it? All thought has created the false self. All thought has made you think you are individual. The thought has told you you are the body. The thoughts have told you that you are inferior or superior. And yet they arrive and they leave, like the projection onto the screen. But you have believed these thoughts. And this is why you believe in the physical world, and you believe that there is a tree and there is a mountain. are they also not projected onto the screen of life? So who are you? Now, it is all well and good me saying to you that you are something more. And you may believe my words. You may follow my journey and say, do this, do that. But your journey must start by seeing that all thought is not who you are. And all thought creates the illusion. That thought is the veil. That thought is what keeps you holding on to your physical self and keeps you holding on to the faults, the problems, the mistakes, and the sins you think you have made. Look at it in truth. Have a thought that you are a bad person. If it is repeated often enough with enough vigor, you will believe it. But if you look at your believing process, you will see that you are not damaged by this thought. It is the belief in the thought which then says, I am good or bad. But neither are true. The more you think, the less spiritual you are. The thicker the veil. So the veil then creates the block like a film of oil on water between two worlds. And as you begin your process of stripping away these false beliefs, your realization of your spiritual self becomes certain. Unless you stop. So the act of contemplation, meditation, the act of prayer, the act of repeating the truth takes your attention from one side to the other. So this is why during our groups to come, we will follow an initial practice of meditation that I will ask you to become habitual. I will provide you a mantra which will confuse the mind and bring it home. And for those which are so desiring, we will begin to step across the veil in understanding You will not die physically, but you will understand yourself and start to live spiritually. As I said last week, more than 90 videos of talks in this manner, many more if you include other talks, have all pointed you into this understanding. All have said, let spirit do the work. Now, this phrase is a thinning of the veil, is allowing the truth to have its way, allowing the manifestation of the non-physical into the physical. Now, you will do this journey yourself in due time, this lifetime or next or the one after. But the fact that you are even listening to this voice says you are ready to take the steps and to be reminded of your birthright. And if you do this sufficiently, when your time comes to leave your body, your transition into spirit will be easier and full of joy, as you will return home to your truth. Wouldn't it be nicer to have your truth today? And it begins with those looking at the mind and saying, I am not these thoughts. I am the watcher of the thought, the observer, the consciousness, the awareness, according to whichever definitions you would like. You are disturbed not, but believe you are. Now, some time ago, a question was asked by one of your number. And they asked a definition between consciousness and awareness. And the analogy was given of the river that runs from the mountain to the ocean. The banks representing the body, and the debris that flows by representing the thoughts. Yet to the river, which may be many thousands of miles long, the debris at one point in that river disturbs it not. The river is from one end to the other. One twig, one branch, one leaf does not matter. Become the river. Limit yourself not by the thoughts of this bank or that branch that floats by. See yourself in your truth and your glory. Know that we walk by your side. as we too are part of the same river as you. We are from the mountain to the ocean. And you are as well. Do not limit yourself and become your birthright. When you sufficiently calm your mind. For those which are ready to take a step, some then are very interested in the way of the world. And they become a jihani, a knowledge seeker, ones that wish to know more truth and understanding, ones which need to know how the world works. And they follow this path, but it is ultimately frustrating. But some understanding is important, particularly for them. And they come across a bhakti, one who follows the way of devotion or the way of heart. And the two seem to be in conflict. Jahan is never really understanding the bhakti and thinking it is fluff. And the bhakti always calling the Jahani to come with it. But it is only when those of head are willing to take the step that they must let go of the knowledge. They must surrender what they have thought because it is only ever limited. And the true expression of love then begins. And this is the knife edge that has been referred to many times. The transfer from head to heart. If you think about the words I have said, you'll soon get lost within the judgments and apparent contradiction. But if you feel the words that have been said, even if you do not understand, there is a stirring in your heart, a flicker of truth, an acceptance or a knowing or a remembering. And that is the journey that you will undertake in your courses. But you can begin today. Is this thought who I am? Now, today's talk is a little shorter due to other commitments, and the same will be next week also. Whether you come to the courses or not, find out if you are the ramblings of the mind, and if not, what are you? This is the most practical advice you can get. God bless you. May peace be forever with you. Hmm.